Hello, and welcome to Infinite Heights, where we unpack the most important stories in energy, trade, and the automotive world. Today, we're diving into the escalating trade war between the United States and Canada, a situation that could leave millions of Americans in the dark. This isn't just some abstract economic theory. This is about the electricity that powers your homes, the gas that fuels your cars, and the very real possibility that those things could get a lot more expensive. So, buckle up, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Let's start with the big one. Canada's threat to cut off electricity to millions of Americans. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a seismic shift in the energy landscape of North America. Imagine waking up one day to find that the power that fuels your home, your workplace, and your entire city has been cut off. This isn't just about flicking a switch. It's about the very fabric of modern life being disrupted in an unprecedented way. Canada has been a reliable energy supplier to the United States for decades, providing a significant portion of the electricity that powers American homes and businesses. The interconnected power grids between the two countries have been a symbol of cooperation and mutual benefit. This relationship has allowed both nations to thrive, sharing resources and ensuring a stable supply of energy. But now, this long-standing partnership is under threat, and the implications are far-reaching. But even the most patient moose gets a little antsy when you keep poking it with a stick. The political tensions and trade disputes have pushed Canada to consider this drastic measure. It's not just about politics. It's about national pride and economic survival. Canada feels cornered, and this threat is a way to assert its position and demand respect on the global stage. The stakes are high, and the consequences could be severe. We're talking rolling blackouts across multiple states, energy bills skyrocketing, and a potential energy crisis that could affect millions. The ripple effects would be felt far and wide, from the bustling streets of New York City to the quiet suburbs of Ohio. Hospitals, schools, and essential services would be hit hard, struggling to operate without a reliable power supply. The social and economic fabric of the nation would be tested like never before. Factories grinding to a halt would mean a significant blow to the economy, affecting not just production, but also jobs and livelihoods. The manufacturing sector, which relies heavily on a steady flow of electricity, would be paralyzed. Workers would face layoffs, and businesses would struggle to stay afloat. The economic impact would be devastating, rippling through communities and affecting every aspect of daily life. This isn't some dystopian fantasy. This is the potential reality if these two countries can't get their act together. The stakes are incredibly high. The modern world is built on a foundation of reliable energy, and without it, everything we take for granted could come crashing down. The threat of an energy cut isn't just a political maneuver. It's a wake-up call to the fragility of our interconnected systems. This is about people's livelihoods, their safety, and their ability to function in the 21st century. Imagine the chaos and disruption in daily life. Families huddled around candles, emergency services stretched to their limits, and a sense of uncertainty hanging over every decision. The psychological impact of such a crisis would be profound, affecting mental health and community cohesion. The modern world relies on a stable and continuous supply of electricity. Without it, everything grinds to a halt, and the consequences could be dire. From the lights that illuminate our cities to the technology that powers our lives, electricity is the lifeblood of modern civilization. The threat of losing it is a stark reminder of how vulnerable we are and how crucial it is to find a resolution to this looming crisis. Now, let's talk about oil, that sweet, sweet crude that keeps the American engine running. It's not just a commodity, it's a lifeline, a crucial element that powers everything from our cars to our industries. Oil is the blood that courses through the veins of modern civilization, driving not just vehicles, but economies, politics, and even international relations. The significance of oil cannot be overstated. It is the backbone of industrialized nations and a key player in global power dynamics. The United States consumes more oil than any other country on Earth, and one of their biggest suppliers is Canada. This relationship is vital as it ensures a steady flow of energy to fuel the American lifestyle. The intricate network of pipelines and tankers that transport this precious resource is a testament to the interdependence between these two nations. It's a partnership built on mutual need and economic benefit, but also one fraught with potential vulnerabilities. But what happens when that flow is disrupted? Well, let's just say it wouldn't be pretty. Imagine a scenario where pipelines are compromised or geopolitical tensions cut off supply. The consequences would be immediate and severe. A disruption in oil supply could stem from various sources: natural disasters, cyber attacks, or even political decisions. Each of these scenarios would have a cascading effect, leading to shortages and skyrocketing prices. We're talking gas prices, making their own personal leap towards the moon, and supply chain disruptions that would make the Suez Canal blockage look like a minor traffic jam. The ripple effects would be felt far and wide. Higher gas prices would not only affect individual consumers, but also businesses that rely on transportation. Delivery services, airlines, and even public transportation systems would face increased operational costs, which would inevitably be passed down to the consumer. And it's not just about the price at the pump. Higher fuel costs translate to increased transportation expenses, which in turn affect the cost of goods. Everything from food to electronics would see a price hike. The cost of living would rise, putting additional strain on household budgets. For many, this could mean making tough choices between essential needs and discretionary spending. Transportation costs go up, the price of goods goes up, and suddenly that avocado toast is starting to look like a luxury item. The economic impact would be profound, affecting everything from daily commutes to the price of groceries. The ripple effect would extend to various sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and retail. Farmers would face higher costs for fuel and fertilizers. Manufacturers would see increased expenses for raw materials and shipping. And retailers would struggle with higher prices and reduced consumer spending. In essence, the entire economic ecosystem would be thrown into disarray, highlighting just how crucial oil is to our daily lives and the broader economy. EC. Let's be honest, nobody wins in a trade war. It's like a pie-eating contest, where everyone throws up at the end. In this case, the cost is a whole lot of tariffs, which are basically taxes on imported goods. And who ends up paying those tariffs? You guessed it. Consumers. Tariffs disrupt supply chains, create uncertainty in the market, and can lead to job losses on both sides of the border. It's like throwing a wrench into a finely tuned machine. Here's the thing about the US and Canada. Their economies are more intertwined than a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. We're talking billions of dollars in goods and services flowing across the border every single day. But this economic interdependence also creates vulnerability. When one country starts throwing up trade barriers, the other feels it. And the thing is, this isn't just about two countries squabbling. The North American economy is a major engine of the global economy. Let's talk about the domino effect, shall we? It's a concept that perfectly illustrates how interconnected our world has become. Imagine a line of dominoes, each one representing a different part of the global economy. When one domino falls, it doesn't just stop there. It sets off a chain reaction that can affect every other domino in the line. This is exactly what happens when trade disruptions occur. Because when it comes to trade disruptions, that's exactly what we're talking about. A single change can ripple through the entire system. Picture a busy port, bustling with cargo ships and shipping containers. Now imagine if just one of those ships is delayed, or if tariffs are suddenly imposed on the goods it carries. The effects can be far-reaching and immediate. 1 minute, it's tariffs on steel and aluminum, causing immediate impacts on production costs. Factories that rely on these materials suddenly find themselves paying more, which can lead to a slowdown in production. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It can have serious repercussions for the entire supply chain. The next minute, it's car manufacturers laying off workers because their costs have gone up, making it harder to stay profitable. When production costs rise, companies often have to make tough decisions to stay afloat. This can mean cutting jobs, which has a direct impact on the workers and their families. Then, those laid off workers can't afford to buy as much stuff, leading to a decrease in consumer spending. When people lose their jobs, they naturally tighten their belts. They cut back on non-essential purchases, which in turn affects businesses that rely on consumer spending to survive. So businesses start to suffer, especially small businesses that rely on local customers. These businesses often operate on thin margins, and a drop in sales can be devastating. They may have to close their doors, leading to a loss of jobs and services in the community. And before you know it, the entire economy is in a tailspin, affecting communities everywhere. The effects of trade disruptions can spread like wildfire, impacting not just the industries directly involved, but also the broader economy. This can lead to a cycle of decline that's hard to break. The point is, this isn't just about abstract economic theory. It's about the tangible effects on our daily lives. When we talk about trade disruptions, we're talking about real-world consequences that affect real people. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about livelihoods and communities. This is about real people, real businesses, and real communities facing the consequences. Small business owners, workers, and families all feel the impact. They have to navigate the challenges brought on by decisions made far away from their everyday lives. Real lives being impacted by decisions made in boardrooms and government offices, far removed from the everyday struggles of ordinary people. These decisions can seem distant and impersonal, but their effects are anything but. They ripple through the economy, affecting everyone from factory workers to small business owners to consumers. It's a reminder of just how interconnected our world has become, and how important it is to consider the broader impacts of trade policies and economic decisions. Now, let's talk about the art of the deal, or in this case, the art of the trade war. Because behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of posturing, strategizing, and maneuvering going on. It's like a game of chess, but instead of bishops and rooks, we're talking about tariffs, quotas, and sanctions. Each side is trying to outmaneuver the other, to gain the upper hand, to protect their own interests. And while it might seem like a game to those playing it, the stakes are incredibly high. So, how does all of this impact you, the average person just trying to get by in this crazy, mixed-up world? Well, let's start with your wallet. Remember all those price increases we talked about earlier? The ones on cars, electronics, and even your morning coffee? Yeah, those are real, and they're not going away anytime soon. And then there's the impact on jobs. As businesses face higher costs and economic uncertainty, they may be forced to lay off workers or put hiring plans on hold. The decisions made today will shape the world we live in tomorrow. So, there you have it. The trade war between the US and Canada is a complicated, messy situation with no easy answers. It's a high-stakes game of chess with the global economy hanging in the balance. What are your thoughts on how these trade moves might affect the automotive world and your everyday expenses? Share your experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of energy, trade, and the automotive industry, be sure to subscribe for more updates.